most men, the woman didn't even flinch. She took hold of Dinah's upper arms, set her upright, then turned her coal-enhanced glare on Jamie and Max. "How many times do I have to tell you no free sampling, fellas? Everything you want is waiting upstairs, but until you've paid, you keep your hands, your lips, and whatever else you think might be tempted to use to yourself." The men waiting their turns with Miss Flo's girls laughed uproariously. One of them wisecracked. "Besides, Jamie, that one you grabbed onto ain't hardly worth stealing a pinch. If she was a striped bass, I'd throw her back." More guffaws and sniggers rang. Jamie's slit-eyed gaze traveled up and down Dinah's frame. "Even the smallest fish tastes plenty good when it's fresh." Dinah hugged herself, wishing she could shrink away to nothing. Miss Flo grabbed a handful of Dinah's hair and gave a harsh yank. "What do you think you're doing, carting coal through the waiting room anyway? I don't want that mess in my parlor." A few smudges of coal dust would hardly be noticed among the years' accumulation of tobacco stains and muddy prints on the worn carpet. But Dinah ducked her head and mumbled meekly, "I'm sorry, Miss Flo." "I know you're sorry, but that doesn't answer my question." Miss Flo's voice was as sharp as the teacher's, the one who berated Dinah for wearing the same dress to school every day and checked her head for lice in front of the whole class. "We got a back door to the kitchen. Why didn't you use it?" Dinah winced and stood as still as she could to keep her hair from being pulled from her scalp. "I couldn't get in through the back. The door's blocked." "By what?" Miss Flo's newest girl, Trudy, liked to meet one of the deputies on the back stoop. He was so tall Trudy had to stand on the stoop for their lips to meet. The image of them pressed so tight together not even a piece of paper could come between them was seared into Dinah's memory. But she wouldn't tattle. It was bad enough she had to listen to the taunts in school and on the streets of town. She wouldn't set herself up for belittling under the only roof she'd ever called home. When Dinah didn't answer, Miss Flo growled and released her hair with another vicious yank. "Get that coal out of here." Dinah bent over to grab the handle of the discarded bucket. Miss Flo kicked her in the rear end, knocking her on her face. "And don't let me see you traipsing through this room again. Next time I might not be around to stop the men from taking their pleasure from you." She stepped over Dinah, the full layers of her bold yellow skirt rustling. "All right, fellas, how about some music while you wait?" Men cheered and whistled. Miss Flo, her smile wide, plopped onto the upright piano's round stool and began thumping out a raucous tune. Drunken voices raised in song. Dinah scrambled to her feet, grabbed the coal bucket and raced from the room. She darted straight to the coal box in the corner and leaned against the wall, panting. So close. Jamie'd come so close to claiming her lips. She covered her mouth with trembling fingers as Miss Flo's warning screamed through her mind. The proprietress often screeched idle threats in Dinah's direction, but this one was real. The older she got, the more likely it became that the men who flocked to the Yellow Parrot after sundown 7 days a week would see her as more than untamable Tory's unfortunate accident. The cook, a hulk of a man with a bald head and forearms the size of hams, glanced in Dinah's direction. "You gonna dump that coal in the hopper or just stand there hugging the bucket?" Dinah gave a start. Sorry, Reuben." She tipped the bucket and dumped the coal into its holding tank. Black dust sifted upward. Some of the black bits were sucked up inside her nose. She dropped the dented bucket with a clatter and turned to cough into her cupped hands. Reuben stirred a wooden spoon through a pot on the massive cast-iron marvel range. The rich smell of rum rose. Another cabinet pudding in the making, Tory's favorite. For years, Dinah had suspected Reuben was sweet on her mother, and when Dinah had been much younger, she'd harbored the whimsical idea that he might be her father. But when she asked him, hoping she'd finally get to call somebody Pa, he laughed so hard.